Welcome back to Double Switch, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to commence with the second act of the game.
You handsome devil, you.
Surprise! How'd you get out? My little helper.
Eddie?
Hey, why don't you just shut up, okay? And why don't you just get the hell out of our lives?
Eddie, your mother and I are worried.
Don't you talk about my mother, all right? This is my building, mine. If it wasn't for me, this place would be Crater City. Now, if you mess with me, you're gonna get it. You got it?
Well, we'll see about that.
The old man just doesn't get it, does he?
Also, that was an awkward pause. I apologize for that. But, yeah, we gotta continue capturing some people here, because if we don't, well, then that will lead to an eventual game over. So, yeah, you gotta have more captured than escaped. And, unlike Night Trap, where there is a set amount of augers that needs to be captured, in this game, there's no limit, right? It's a matter of how many you can capture in this entire game. And, now, we've just confronted Lyle, and we just helped Eddie escape. Is Lyle a bad guy? Well, I mean, as far as I'm aware of, he's a bad guy. So we gotta continue protecting Eddie.
So, come on in. Hey, you know what? Stand over there. I want to get a picture of you for my story.
Story? What story?
The one I'm doing on the Edward Arms.
There's no way you're writing a story about this place, okay? Is that clear? Got that?
Hey!
Well, that was awkward. And while the story is going on, ladies and gentlemen, we are letting a lot of people escape. We've only captured 17. 24 has escaped. This is turning out to be bad. But, yeah. My tip for you is to ignore the story and just focus on the game itself, ladies and gentlemen. And just like in Act 1, throughout the entire game, we gotta protect the power box, because if we let them disable that power, that's a game over. Also, gotta love that twang soundtrack, right? That little twang from the Genesis soundtrack. You know the one. Anyway, here's Lyle. Let's capture him. There we go. Now we're doing good. Now we're doing real good.
I'm here to audition the band.
I'm a singer. Torch songs, mostly.
Good for you. Maybe next time, babe.
So much star power behind this game. So much star power. But, yeah, so now our mission is to make sure that...
You're letting those suckers get the upper hand. Come on, get with it, pal.
I'm sorry. I can't help it if I want to pay attention to the story. I'll do a little better, Eddie. Please stop yelling at me. Please. Just please stop yelling at me. I don't like it when people yell at me, Eddie. Please. Please. I'll do better, Eddie. I'll at least do a lot better than that guy did.
No. Nobody was injured, but just don't put me on hold again. No!
There we go. Now we're staying on top of it. Anyway, on top of capturing these intruders, we got to keep an eye out on Lyle as well. Also, another game over opportune moment here, ladies and gentlemen, because if we don't capture this intruder here, that's a game over. Also, that's another thing. I hope that you can learn the difference of each trap within each room, right? Because there's a total of 2 traps right now.
All right, I've seen it. Listen. I have an act that I have to put on the back burner so I can put you on the front burner. I'll be in touch.
And hopefully you will know which trap to use because, man, it will lead you to a capture gone wrong, that's for sure.
But it's a good thing it works.
Immediately go to Alex's room after that because, yeah, if you don't capture that intruder, that's also a game over.
I can't hear you.
What the fuck?
Jeff, that's really good. Who are you supposed to be, Ramses? No.
You know, you're not the only one playing this game. A trap arms, you disarm it.
Well, shit. I guess I better change up my game plan. Oh, well, let's try again. So, yeah, now there's a mummy among us. Weird. But whenever you get a game over, ladies and gentlemen, you start at that checkpoint where the second act starts, right? So, like I mentioned, there's a total of 3 acts, right? So that means that there are a total of 2 checkpoints in this entire game. And while we are trying to capture the intruders, we now have to figure out who to side on, you know? Do we side with Lyle now? Because apparently, at that moment where the mummy was in that other tenant's room, we weren't able to capture that mummy or stop that mummy or whatever.
You got it?
We'll see about that.
The old man just doesn't get it, does he?
Needless to say, we're going to do things a little different here in Act 2, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going to trap Lyle this time around. We're going to see what Lyle the handyman comes into play here. We're going to see what he does, what's his purpose in this entire game is. But in the meantime, let's just focus on capturing the other intruders. And of course, while we're focusing on capturing intruders, we're missing good dialogue.
Eddie, my hero, come on in. Hey, you know what? Stand over there. I want to get a picture of you for my story.
Story? What story?
The one I'm doing on the Edward Arms. Wait a second. If Eddie wasn't operating the traps, who was?
I wonder.
Stay with me. I'm going to the basement.
Yeah, so we're not going to be focusing on capturing Lyle. And that was an optional capture, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. You can capture Eddie, and it should be counted in the captured number, right? So, should be added to that number. It's weird, but hey, what are you going to do? Am I right? Anyway, so now we have piqued the interest of Alex, because she just figured out that Eddie was not running the controls.
Eddie's electronic world is apparently deserted. What is he up to here?
I don't know.
Who's operating the controls?
I don't know. Anyway, we gotta switch over to Brutus because, hey, there's Lyle the handyman. Let's see what his purpose is.
All over this building.
Yeah, sure.
Watch out for this one.
Alright, here's the gimmick of Act 2, ladies and gentlemen. We do not want to capture Lyle the Handyman whatsoever. For his purpose in this entire act is to introduce us to the third trap in each room. So in Bruce's room, we were introduced to the cage trap. And that's going to be helpful to us in this entire act later on, right? Not the entire act, but just, you know, it'll help us out in this act, okay? Is what I'm trying to say here.
Before the record guy gets here. Let's go! Answer it, come on!
Is this green?
And while that's going on, we still gotta focus on the intruders. And we gotta focus on keeping an eye out on Lyle the Handyman. So right now would be a good time to go on ahead and switch over to the other camera feed where my cursor is hovering, but oh no, I'm so focused on capturing this gal.
Come with me, I'll show you what I'm talking about. No, not there. Over here, please. Check this out.
Now we get introduced to the the second trap, the hands trap, which will help us with the capture when we have to save that tenant a little bit later on.
All right, I've seen it.
And again, immediately you want to switch back over to Alex's room to protect Alex. Right now, I'm just being a bit more ballsy with my other catches before I protect Alex. Trying to get a warm-up in, you know? Because just like Night Trap, I'm planning on doing another bonus video where I'm going to be doing an A rank run on this game. Those were some nice moves. Anyway, with the mummy here, you want to disable the trap, right? And by disabling it, we render the mummy trapping the tenant, and now we need to focus on using the hands trap. With these traps, they will help us capture the mummy. And that's what we need to do in Act 2, is to catch the mummy.
Been flipping out here lately. And he's gonna try to switch you off from down here. And when he does, use this.
So my advice to you, ladies and gentlemen, is to keep an eye on the notifications screen for Lyle the Handyman, because he will help you uncover more traps, right? And we need to use those traps to capture the mummy. That sounds so fucking weird to say. Now, here is a beginner's trap right here, ladies and gentlemen. Now we gotta protect Brutus, right? Because soon enough, yep, see, there's a mummy right there. And Mummy's going to try to capture Brutus. And although I do a good enough job to protect Brutus, while doing this, I have missed an opportune moment of learning another trap from Lyle, right? And we'll get into that in a bit here.
Maybe right on over to you.
Yeah, unfortunately, I missed an opportune moment of learning this trap because since I was focused on saving Brutus and not paying attention to Lyle beforehand, now I don't have access to that trap. So, even if I were to continue on with this act, ladies and gentlemen, it would be a bust. And, yeah, there's even another capture here, ladies and gentlemen. It didn't even matter because I would have gotten the game over anyway. This game is full of trial and error. It's full of trial and error. But, I will show you how to go through the entirety of Act 2 in the next video. So until then, ladies and gentlemen.